Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. Starting us off right now, just cut to the chase on something specific. I am drinking coffee today. So I hope that isn't too much of a disappointment, but it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is it's a lot fucking earlier than I usually make videos, and it's just too early for fucking soda. Anyway, this is going to be a quick new arrivals video. Before I get into that, though, in case Mr. Hall of Fame is watching, I promised I would show this. This is a t-shirt that I bought at a Question Mark in the Mysterians show when I saw them in San Francisco a few years ago. I was going to put it on, but it'll be easier for me to show it off like this. So, that's the front. And this is the back. Question Mark in the Mysterians, Michigan rock and roll. That's it. Look how cheap it is. It's totally like... Of course, my fucking camera's blurring out. But, come on, piece of shit. God damn it. Fuck! Alright, I'll take another sip of my coffee and see what happens. Alright, there we go. Piece of shit, man. There it is. You can totally see it's like one of those fucking standard fonts that they use for these t-shirts. It's awesome. So it's pretty much classic. I got this at an actual Question Mark of the Mysterians show when I saw them in about 1998-ish in San Francisco at the Great American Music Hall. Alright, so let's go to the new arrivals here. We're going to start out with the metal. Big surprise. This one, Tyranny. What's it called? Manipulator. This actually comes out with a slightly more rare white cover, which I was sort of holding out for, but I got this really cheap. And this is a damn good record. The guys look kind of corny. Shit, reflection there. Especially that singer, man. He looks like a fucking cheeseball, dude. But, you know, the main thing about this is it has the metallicness to it, and, the songs are just good. I really didn't have anything else to say about this, but, this looked to me like a record that, you know, would probably be enjoyable, but not necessarily a classic. But, you know, I really like this record a lot. It's really just the strength of the songs. It's got this one beat on that front, which I got at the same time. This is Spectre, Lady of the Night. I hadn't heard this one before either. Got it cheap. And I gotta say, this... I didn't really know what to expect from this one. I thought it would probably be on the glammy side based on the cover, but maybe not. It's... my fucking mustache is itching. I wish Greeno would grow those chops already. Record's 85. It says Spectre copyright 1982, so I don't know what the hell that means. But, you know, there's just too many fucking ballads on this record. I like the sound. There's nothing wrong with this record, except, it's just too many ballads, man. It's like the first song's a rocker, and then it's like a ballad. Like, okay, then they're gonna rock. Oh, it's another fucking ballad. Okay, then they're gonna rock again, right? No, it's another fucking ballad. And I kind of text my attention span. Next up, it's a little bit embarrassing I don't have this, but this one filled a very significant hole in my collection. One Foot in Hell by Sarathungal. No, I didn't already have this. It's a very nice copy. Kind of paid for it, but I didn't pay a lot for it. Well, I paid a lot for it, but I didn't pay a lot for it, you know? And, yeah, this one's way the fuck overdue, given how much I love those first two records. Yeah, for some reason, this one in my mind was always kind of the inferior of the three records. But this one kills, man. I just playing it again. And first of all, I recognize like every song. There's how many times I listened to it online. But second of all, it's just heavy and it rocks. And frankly, there aren't any clunkers like I'm Alive off the first record is kind of, you know, it's like they're going for a little chart success without really knowing how to do it or something, which makes it sound better than it is. But anyway, no clunkers on this record. And another one that I've been keeping an eye out for and got a good price on, that is the compilation, actually, the Northwest Metal Fest, which is probably best known for having an early Metal Church song on it. It also has Lipstick, Open Fire, has Overlord, who did that Broken Toys 12-inch, or EP, if anyone has that. It's not that great, honestly, but it also has Mace on it. They made a couple records later on. But, this is a really cool record, though. It's just a good compilation. It's heavy, and it just rocks. Just good stuff. I mean, it basically has going for it what you'd hope a comp would, which is, you know, every one of the bands is really trying to prove themselves, and it makes for a good record. Okay, next up is a couple obvious ones that I got in the wild for various reasons. Like this one I got because I've been kind of obsessed with the band. I always mention the Rock and Roll Truck Stop when I do this, but that's because he got me on this fucking kick, and I like this record a lot too, man. We're still going strong with the Savoy Brown. Similarly, for some reason, since I've clued into later James Gang, but not so much earlier James Gang, I got this one, which is a fucking lurid-ass cover, man. Look at that. It's called James Gang Bang, like it isn't obvious enough. But it's like she's looking at the magazine all innocent, and this dude's obviously thinking about slapping sax, right? So, yeah. Good record, though, man. Tommy Bolin era shit. I really like it. It's not, like, world-class. Like, it's not like I just rediscovered, Uriah Heep or something like that. But just a fun record to listen to. Kind of a casual listen, you know? Here's another record that I've owned once or twice before by a band that I really, really like. And I actually got this one again. Never clicked for it before. I got this one again because I saw a video where John Gallagher of Raven was talking about how much he loved this record. And I was like, okay, shit, man. I gotta give it another shot. Dude, I still think this record is fucking boring. I really want to like this. I mean, it's a live Slade record, right? I love Slade. I really do. I mean, yeah, they went astray in the 80s. I don't blame them for trying to make some money, but I reserve the right to not play those records. But Jesus, man, just in case the fact that Slade is enough, look at that. This ought to be a great record, man. It's just boring, dude. I don't know. It doesn't click for me. Maybe someday I'll come back on and make a video and be like, oh my god, Slade Alive is the greatest fucking thing ever. But I'll tell you something. I got my first copy of this when I was still in high school. So long. No, it's not that long ago. It was probably late 80s, though. And I thought it was boring. And let go of it, got another copy, still thought it was boring. I still think it's boring. A little bit more of a rarity here. Mr. Ferraro actually noticed this in the background of another one, but I'm going to talk about it now. This is actually a kind of a long-time favorite. It's kind of funny that I clued into this before the other ones. It's not so much bluesy as much as sort of country-y, and I don't know if I'd really call it country as much as, I don't know. You know what this Homer record is? When people talk about records that sound like rural rock, Homer is kind of what I wish they sounded like. Because, I don't know, man, the songs are just good. It definitely has sort of that laid-back kind of country feel going to it. And, you know, you could call this country, but I just don't hear, like, the, I don't know, man, maybe it's just the term is too, like, has such a negative connotation. I hate to apply it to this great record. I just took a little trouble to find it. This is an earlier reissue on the Breeder Backtrack label, which I believe is of questionable legitimacy. But I didn't want to get the double thing because I'm not a big believer in bonus tracks. So I'm happy to have a single version of this. That Garrison one, it's a very nice label. They probably did a bang-up job, but I just don't need a full LP of bonus tracks, man. Next up. Got a copy of this, and although I kind of wish that Bruce Rawlings hadn't written his name on it, this is a really cool record. This is the second Bull Angus record. I already had the first one. This band, it's an old hard rocker, but it's not a hard rocker the way like Deep Purple is. You know, I've heard records described as more loud than heavy. And that's kind of what these guys like. They kind of have sort of a barroom feel. There's a lot of like sort of, not boogie sound, like not like status quo shit, but like boogie sort of style piano in it. And like barroom type of shit. And it's a cool record. It rocks. It's not super heavy, but it's a perfectly enjoyable record. I would not advise spending $100 on this thing. But if you come across one relatively cheap, and I'll tell you, I got both of my Bull Angus records relatively cheap. They're not great copies, but they're fine copies for as often as I play them. And that old 70s vinyl, man, it can handle a few nicks and still sound pretty damn good. Bull Angus is worth a listen. This one I was kind of glad to get my hands on, because I've actually never held a record by this band in my hands before. This is T from Switzerland, and this is, I believe, the second record, called The Ship. It's probably best known for having the singer who would be the singer of Crocus in it, actually. This is a pre-Crocus thing, and it's funny because a oh, this record wasn't exactly dirt cheap. It cost a fraction of what those first two Crocus records cost, and it's probably more of an exciting listen than those first two Crocus records, because it doesn't just sound like the later Crocus records. It sounds like a different band, you know. This is, I've heard this described as sort of like an early sort of semi-prog record. It's really more of a semi-pomp record, really. It definitely has some prog's leanings, but what is this, 74, I think, 75 maybe? I don't know right off. It's right around in that time frame. I mean, it really kind of sounds like if you took like a total pomp record from like 78 and like dialed it back to like 74 or 75, where the idioms weren't defined yet, where, you know, there was no such thing as the first Boston record yet or anything like that. And that's kind of what this is, or the first Angel record for that matter, which I love. Boston, not so much. Anyway, this is a pretty enjoyable record. I've got to listen to it a couple more times before I like fully decide, you know, is this a classic or is it not? But it's a record that I enjoy anyway. It actually reminds me of the band Titanic too, for some reason, but I couldn't really articulate why, because I'm not sure they really have very much in common, other than the fact they're both European. The last one I really don't have much to say about. It's actually a copy of Pay Attention by the Mothmen, and this one is in here because my personal brand of obsessive compulsion is leading me to buy anything I can find on the On You label. This is actually not even on that label. It's a little weird because some of these are static records and that. Maybe this is actually. I actually think that this is an On You record. But, yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. I don't really give a shit about Tackhead, and I'm kind of lukewarm on Mark Stewart. But I like the London Underground, lukewarm on the New Age Steppers too. But I love African Head Charge. I love pretty much anything by the Jamaican Expats. The Missing Brazilians record is fucking fantastic. Dub Syndicate. So, Creation Rebel. They might be the best of the lot. But when I see On You stuff for a good price, I try to grab it. I probably have about half the catalog at this point. If anyone gives a shit, maybe I'll talk about it. But it's not the sort of thing I normally do, because most of my reggae is older than that. And I don't know, I guess I don't spend a lot of time talking about UK bands, really, unless there's a new wave of British heavy metal stuff. So anyway, that's what I've got for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the laughs. We laughed some, we cried some, and we hugged at the end. Take care.